Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Christmassy books that I love. Now this first one is, surprise, surprise, is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It wasn't until I joined BookTube that I realized how much Christmassy vibe the series has. Basically there's just this giant Christmassy scene in it, and then it repeats this scene throughout the series, which is why during the month of December Harry Potter movies get shown on ABC or whatever challenge or whatever channel that is. I feel like any of the Harry Potter books here can really get shuffled in this sort of vibe, especially Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the Yule Ball. They went all out that year for Christmas. And again, I didn't really notice the connotation here until I joined BookTube, especially with Harry Christmas to You, which is a readathon I used to participate in every year. I don't think I'm doing it this year, if I'm being completely honest. It's just a lot of books to read, not enough time in December. Of course, I might change my mind at super last minute. Anyways, that readathon especially, what made me really appreciate this book at Christmas time. And it's a really great book to read while it's snowing outside. Any fantasy book is really great while it's snowing outside, I feel like. Which is why the majority of the books on this list are fantasy books. I like to read fantasy when there's 3 feet of snow outside. Probably because the amount of snow we get here in New England is unreal, and it's just a make-believe world of how beautiful it looks after freshly fallen snow. The next book on my list is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Of course this book was going to be on this list. I haven't read it in a while, but it's definitely a book that I've reread in the past, and I enjoy it every time I read it. And of course it has that Christmassy vibe. Well, it's more like a wintry vibe, and at the end they make a big deal about Christmas. Because in Narnia, while the witch is in power, it's always winter but never Christmas. So when Father Christmas shows up to give his gifts to those 4 kids, it's a huge deal. The beginning scene especially just screams Christmas without being Christmas. Mr. Tumnus walking through the snow is falling, the snow is pretty high up off the ground because it's just piling up. He has this little scarf on, his cheeks are ready because it's so cold, and he has packages under his arm. Even though it's not supposed to be Christmas at that particular moment, it's very Christmassy. The next book is one that I've talked about recently, and I feel like I talk about this book a lot around this time of year, and it's Letters from Father Christmas. I own it. Let me see if I can find it. Where did I stick it? It was my favorite book. Where the heck did it go? Haha, there it is. Started to panic. It's my favorite book. I can find it. Here it is. The Father Christmas Letters. Excuse me. I keep calling it Letters from Father Christmas, but it's called The Father Christmas Letters. I feel like a different publication, when it was republished, call it Letters from Father Christmas, but I could be mistaken. So the first 2 books are very well-known books of fiction. This, obviously, it is fiction, but it's actually letters that Tolkien wrote to his kids. I can't rave enough about this book. I love it. What I love is the amount of detail he goes into it. He does these little paintings that he includes every year. He actually has this ongoing story arc with Santa Claus and with the polar bear that helps him. At one year the polar bear accidentally floods the workroom, and the next year the polar bear helped with this goblin attack. As the kids get older, the goblins actually have a bigger aspect in the story, and it gets pretty adventure filled as the kids get older. And I especially liked this whole book is just chef's kiss. He references stuff from previous years, so it makes this Father Christmas character seem very real. Oh, that's just more of the art. It's just fabulous. I came across this book when I first started doing BookTube, and I've fallen in love with it. And of course I'm sad. I stuck it in my bag while I was doing one of the recent readathons. I think it was for my readathon, actually. Yes, it was, for Lord of the Readathons. I wanted to start with a Tolkien book, but one that was short enough for the challenge, read a book while you're listening to music. So I stuck it in my bag so I can do that. And the dust jacket got damaged in my bag. It makes me really sad that that happened. But it actually made me take off the dust jacket. I don't think in the couple years that I've owned it that I've ever taken off the dust jacket. And it's actually pretty cute without the dust jacket on. But we're gonna keep it on to protect the book. But now I know I can't travel with this book. This next book is actually a book that I have on this list that I've not reread yet, but I really enjoy and I hope to reread it in the future. It's Snow in Love, which is by Melissa Dela Cruz, Nick Stone, Amy Friedman, and Casey West. This was actually the buddy read for, I want to say, last year's 'Tis a Season-a-thon. I could be mistaken there, but this was definitely a buddy read. And I actually got this at that year's BookCon. So I was really pleased to find out that when this was a buddy read, I'm like, oh good, now I don't have to go out of my way to get it because I already have it. This is basically like a collection of short stories by these different authors. One is actually a Hanukkah story. A Hanukkah miracle may just happen when a Jewish girl working as a department store elf finds love. Then the next three are a snowy road trip takes an unexpected detour when secrets and crushes are revealed. Third one, Christmas Eve gets a plot twist when a high school couple exchanges surprising presents. Kind of like a gift of the Magi sort of vibe. And a scavenger hunt amid the holiday crowds at an airport turns totally romantic. This last one was my favorite one. I loved it so much. I just loved the idea of this romance in this airport and they're flirting through this scavenger hunt. It was so cute. Who did that one? Please tell me who did that one. Nick Stone. Nick Stone wrote that one. You did good, Nick. Fabulous. But I did mention Gift of the Magi, which is a really cool segue because that's actually my last story. I don't own that one. In fact, that is just a short story that I reread once every couple years. I actually remember when I was a kid, before I get too ahead of myself, who wrote A Gift of the Magi? It's a short story by O. Henry, and it was first written in 1905. Basically a husband and a wife, they can't afford or they're not able to give the person the gift that they truly want to give. So they sell something very precious to them to be able to get this perfect gift for the other person. But of course, their gifts coincide with that very precious item. So it's very sweet, but things go awry because of it. It's very sweet, and it basically shows you that Christmas is more about material things. Now let's get back into the story before I got really distracted. I remember when I was a kid watching kind of like this, how do I want to word it? The animation for this short story was basically these just painted slides that would move on to the next part of the story. And I remember one of the slides clear as day, but I can't remember what edition this movie was, and I've been trying to find it for years. And when I think about this movie is what makes me think of the short story, which makes me want to read the short story. So I've been very well aware of this short story for many years. I was in elementary school too when I first came across this story. It was incredibly powerful then, and it's still a very powerful story now. And it's amazing at how it's just lasted this long and how it's just a classic story. There's just so many variations of this too. Like Disney has done a variation of it. There's like other runoffs of the story. Case in point, the one that I just talked about. This short story has just been around for years and I absolutely love it. Okay, so that is the end of this video. I didn't say at the beginning of this video, but it's basically another day of Vlogmas. I'm going to attempt to do 12 days of Vlogmas. I can't do 24. 24 is just too much. I just can't handle it. So we're going to do 12 days of Vlogmas, but last year at the end of every video for Vlogmas, I did an advent calendar, and we're just going to continue that today. In the first video, we did open up Harry here. So we're gonna open up number 2, if I can do it. There we go. Oh, okay, excellent. We got a Gryffindor ornament, double-sided, very much like Harry. And the, I guess the strand, the hanging bit matches. So you can definitely tell it's part of a set, which I really appreciate. And I especially appreciate that so far I've only gotten Gryffindor pieces. Gryffindor heart, very happy about that. Let me know down in the comments of a Christmas book that you try to reread every year. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I guess it's ta-ta for now. Bye guys.